play-in, and the Thunder. They were the fourth youngest team in the league last year. Won a title. Fourth youngest team this year. They're the favorite. And they have extra first round. They own all of their own first round picks through 2032. As far as you can. They haven't traded anyway. And they have at least one extra first round pick for, I believe, the next 4 seasons. And for the next couple, they could have multiple extra first round picks. So if they win this lottery in this loaded draft, it would be unfair.
Okay, can I throw that back up there?
What's your problem? That is just numerically accurate.
Yeah, but
the problem with it?
Okay, are the Spurs a young team or not?
Yeah, of course they are.
Well, Harrison Barnes makes them all.
Correct. It is the worst teams in basketball, and also the second best team in the West, who beat them 4 out of 5 this year, is one player in their rotation. Like the Spurs core is younger than the Thunder's core.
But the Spurs can't get a top 4 pick.
No, I understand. I'm going to get to the lottery piece in a minute. I'm just saying that that does make it look like there are no other awesome teams that are crazy young, and I just think the Spurs are on the aging curve as far as like their core players. One of the only teams actually younger than the Thunder. They just have a couple guys who aren't really. Barnes is relatively important, but they have a couple way old guys, and the Thunder have none. You know, the Thunder's oldest guy is Hartenstein. Right?
Caruso's 32.
Oh, Caruso. Yeah, Caruso's 30. Yeah, because he took forever to get to the league.
Yeah, Caruso's
he feels
32.
younger than he is, but that's right. So if they win the lottery, it's a catastrophe for the league. It's a catastrophe. Now, if they don't, well, kind of. I mean, it's kind of rewarding smart business, and it's kind of just that there are a lot of teams that have traded for other teams' picks, and those other teams didn't fall apart the way the Clippers did. And there is no, I don't know that it's smart business so much as the Clippers are sending you what is supposed to be the 12th pick, and then if it by 1.5% chance, that to me borders on the Nico Harrison. It was all part of the plan to get Cooper Flag. Like the Thunder, it was not, they didn't make any of those trades thinking, yeah, and in 7 years it's going to be the number 1 pick. Now it can be, and they have the possibility for it. I think this happening actually would be bad for the league. I think that if they just stay where the odds are they will stay, which is there is a 92% chance they don't move up, then I am not as confident as Danny that all of these extra draft assets really are going to matter that much for OKC. Because you can only have pay so many guys, you can only have so many guys on your roster, you only have so many minutes to play, and they have drafted so well that, and as we've seen from them in the past, they can't even make all these picks. They can then flip them for future things, so they continue to keep the cupboard rich. But unlike the NFL, once you get out of the lottery, it is really a 1 in 15 shot that you're drafting even a real contributor. And in the second round, it's like a 1 in 30 shot, and they're drafting a real contributor. Even with the best GM in basketball.
Right, but it's just ammo for the best GM in basketball to do with as he sees fit. Like the Caruso, how they got Caruso was they had Josh Giddey.
Correct.
And they're like, man, we don't really have a role for Josh Giddey, but he's a nice player with a lot of talent. And so, but Caruso's contract was amazing and his defensive ability. So they you don't have to draft a player with a draft pick. You can trade it to another team. Oh, the Magic have a good player on a great contract, but they've got no use for him because they can't win anything.
No, and it's the Jared McCain, who they just added from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. My biggest reason, I kind of have a 3-pronged reason why I am not as terrified of the upcoming Oklahoma City reign as the rest of NBA media. And the first one is, I think winning makes winning harder.
Sure.
I think that I think we are approaching a post-dynastic era of the NBA intentionally by the collective bargaining agreement. Yeah, and so that's the first point. Second point is, I do think that being in the West, having to deal with San Antonio, having to deal with what's going to be the entirety of Luka's prime on the Lakers, having to deal with imagine, unless Minnesota gets flipped to the East, which they could with the expansion, all of Ant's prime, like there's going to be years somebody clips them. And the third one, and the one least interesting and exciting to talk about, is I do not believe the Oklahoma City Thunder ownership will pay what it will take to keep all these guys together. And so I think, and now you will, because you have the draft picks, they'll never be short on depth, but they're guys, Presley's drafted so well, and those guys have proven so much. They are all in line for these massive raises, and I just don't know that I think OKC
feels more like building a football dynasty.
What do you mean?
That you have a bevy of draft picks, and when your excellent players are in line for a big payday, you have to say goodbye and next man up. But it feels like if that was the plan, they're well suited for that.
Yeah, I just they have next year's Clippers pick is the only one of their extra picks that you can realistically foresee being a really good pick. So if the Clippers don't, win the lottery this year, then I don't imagine the Thunder are going to add anyone that helps them next year in this year's draft. I just don't.
Rockets Lakers tip off Saturday night as well. AR and Luke is still out indefinitely according to JJ, but AR was shooting with sneakers on. Lakers looking for any advantage and need a little extra rest for LeBron between games. That's where they find it. Here's JJ Redick.
This is Quinn, a basketball legend. After her buzzer-beating layup secured the league championships, her legendary moment was cemented. So, how does a legend stay legendary? Well, she's got the BetMGM app and is on her way to making another unforgettable play. Like Quinn, download the BetMGM app. Make it legendary. Planning to move? Choose Pods, the most awarded container moving company. Pods brings the container to you.
Yeah, I think it's just 41, so yeah, any extra time off is good.
What's okay though?
We got to bring Suits back. We got to. I know it's Coward's territory, but this gives you any more faith LeBron can pull off the upset.
I think the schedule is very, very important for the Lakers' chances here. And we can throw it up, but the takeaway is LeBron will have had 5 days off before game 1, and then 2 days off between games 1 and 2, 2 days off between games 2 and 3, only 1 day off between game 3 and 4, and then 2 days off between games 4 and 5. I believe LeBron is the best player in this series. I think Kevin Durant is a great player. I think LeBron James happens to have been better than Kevin Durant at basketball every single day of each of their lives. And
thank you. Thank you.
What is so vexing to me about the Vegas
no matter how good all that shit you be doing, that shit don't matter,
the
nigga.
submissiveness of the Lakers even being able to put up a fight is we see teams that aren't as talented as another team get hot from 3 and win games all the time in this league. If you add to that the fact that the team that's not as talented has one of the greatest players in the history of the league who is still playing at a level that I believe to be the best player in the series, and they're at home, of course they can. Now, if we're into our official picks tomorrow, I will be picking the Rockets. I think the Rockets are the likely winner of this, but I do not think it's going to be a sweep, and I would not be stunned if the Lakers find a way to win, and that's, leaving aside the Luka and Austin specter of them coming back.
What JJ Redick said is objectively true, right? Like, more time off is better for any team that is one of their strengths is not depth, right? More rest. And then you add in your best player is 41. And even if I quibble with Durant v. LeBron this year in terms of my belief in his ability to do it over the course of a whole series, fine. We'll say LeBron's the best player in the series. The second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth best player in the series all the Rockets jerseys. And so LeBron's ability to win a game is obviously in play. To win 4-7 when the other team has the second or sixth best player in the series, when you are 41 years old, seems like way too tall of a task for him. I know he's been doubted before. We'll see if he comes back, and I get the argument that a lot of people are making that Luka's game is not predicated on athleticism, so if he comes back at 80%, it would impact him less than it would impact other guys. I just think you would say Luka's the best player on the Lakers, obviously. Yeah. So they lost their first and third best player. Yep. Go to any team and take their first and third best player out and tell me which team you pick to win any of these first round matchups other than maybe the Thunder and Spurs.
No, I would, given who they're playing. No, I thought you were saying playing the Rockets. Given who they're playing.
If you took Brunson and Bridges off the Knicks, you would pick, everybody in the world would pick the Hawks to beat them.
No, I agree with that. I also will happen to think LeBron might be better than almost anybody else's second best player. So, like, that is not that I have to go through the foot. Like, LeBron is better, in my opinion, than Cat. I understand those guys have better seasons, but they have different roles and, different responsibilities, and the playoffs are a different animal. Part of the falsity in the KW is we are, and I understand the Rockets play great down the stretch, but we are not far removed from everyone feeling like the Rockets and the team, everyone wants to play. They don't like each other. Udoka never figured out the Ring Shepherd thing this year. They don't have a point guard. If they turn the ball over at the end of games. And so I do think the Lakers' late game execution should be better than the Rockets' late game execution, even without Luka and AR, because LeBron will be at the controls. And then the real, and this is going to show you different spots in LeBron's career, the real question is, the biggest question I have is this: are the Lakers just going to get absolutely smoked, like 9-0, every time LeBron sits for 3? Are they just not going to be able to generate any offense at all in the time he is on the bench? And will that then create a circumstance where JJ feels like, I can't really sit him, and then at the end of games,
he's gassed.
Right, he's gassed. And like that's the scenario. And that scenario, by the way, is kind of why I'm picking the Rockets to win the series. Like I think that is, I don't know how they're going to generate offense when he's off the court, but I don't think, I don't look at this, the Lakers beating the Rockets as a bigger upset than the Timberwolves beating the Nuggets just in Vegas. Yeah. Like a
Wolves team that's been in the Western Conference Finals back-to-back.
Because I think the Nuggets are a great team. I think the Nuggets are a great team, and I think the Rockets are a flawed team. So I'm like never shocked if a flawed team that's been bad situationally all year loses a playoff series it should win. Like that's almost never shocking to me unless and so that's.
I guess with Luka and Austin Reeves healthy, we talked about some of the flaws with the Lakers and that they weren't very deep and that we didn't really believe in them defensively and they had to just outscore everybody. Now you've taken away their ability to outscore everybody.
Those conversations we were having about the Lakers and the flaws being healthy was about their ability to win a championship. Not about their ability to get out of round one. And not about their ability to get out of round one if they're playing Houston. Again, it might be a moot point, and I have like a small mental hedge in that I guess I'm one of the last people that believes if this thing goes 6, Luka's going to play against it. And so, and that's not really the discussion we're having here, but the Rockets this year were 5-12 against the other top 6 in the West. They beat every one of those teams one time and lost to every one of those teams 2 or 3 times. Now again, the Lakers guys presently constituted are not one of the top 6 teams in the West. I am not afraid of this Rockets team. And so I think there are scenarios where, LeBron is unbelievable one game. They hit a bunch of threes in another game, and it's 2-2 going into game 5. And then if there's an accident, the Lakers having home court, you don't know what's if they start, they don't made the 8 fewest threes of anybody. The Rockets have made the 6 fewest. It feels like we are headed for a classic LeBron James first game on Monday. LeBron plus whatever minutes on the court. Lakers minus more wins off the court, and that would be the story. Like LeBron did his job, his depth is. LeBron's going to do his job. That's the most likely. That is the most likely. He handed down additional punishment to LaMelo Ball for tripping ban and swearing in post-game interview. $35K for the trip, $25K for the curse, and a retroactive flagrant 2, Jenny. Other storyline here is after yesterday's show, the Ball family, Lamar and Lonzo challenged Nick to take on LaMelo. As of this writing, we've yet to hear from Leandro. Hornets in Orlando on Friday. What's on the line for LaMelo? I mean, so I think that
And for those of you just tuning in,
Bam.
second quarter action is where
All you have to do is swipe left or right to launch your friend. And when you land it, it's awesome. See? Make a new record. Try again. Send them flying before they notice. Download TikTok. Try it now. Search social features or ways to connect.
Cleveland.
Why sell your car at WeBuyAnyCar.com? Because selling it yourself means dealing with...
Okay, I'll give you that now.
Okay, and it is. This is mine. Don't suffer selling your car on your own. Visit WeBuyAnyCar.com to see what your car's worth. We make it easy. Get in, get out, and get paid at a fair price. Nice. Get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com. Kindly, today said, listen, I don't think we didn't say he thought he was a dirty player, and Spolster came out today and finally said, I don't think he's a dirty player. But Bam, when pressed on it, did say he hasn't heard of him. So there's obviously going to be extra scrutiny on her there. This is a little awkward to say, but I think because there was such a strong reaction to the verbiage I used yesterday from his family and from everything, I think there is a more of a spotlight on how he plays and his behavior in this game than maybe there typically would be. I think that's a reality of it. And I think that LaMelo Ball in this plan and moving forward, I think has to prove to the basketball world that he has the requisite maturity to take advantage of the immense talent. And, Blue does not throw this stuff around lightly. He said he's a Hall of Fame talent. Everyone knows he's one of the best passers and most creative players in the league. Yet, because of that, he's been in the league, despite that, he's been in the league 6 years, and the single biggest game he ever played in was a 9-10 play-in game, which with 15 seconds left in overtime, he had a cartoonish turnover and then fouled a 92% three-point shooter from 3 with a 2-point lead. And then made up for it with the layup, and then punched the mascot and dropped an F-bomb in the interview. And then said he didn't know the concussion. And so I do think that he is one of the more intriguing people in these playoffs. I don't think he's going to be long for these playoffs, but he can prove me and folks that have written me wrong by playing an adult version of basketball, which he very rarely does.
I think it's hard to disagree with anything you said there, or frankly yesterday. He is crazy talented, and he's fun to watch, which is part of why he is so popular with young basketball fans. He's kind of made for the TikTok, Instagram, highlight reel world. When NBA Top Shot came out, he had some of the most valuable NBA Top Shots. Like,
Those were NFTs.
Yeah.
You have a little investment? No, I couldn't get them. They're like sold out. Oh, yeah. I can't believe there was a loss.
I'm just saying, like, that was a moment in time where, like, people were Top Shot. Like, you know, he's like, people care about him, good and bad, and he is an interesting player to watch. And I know you kind of jumped on the Hornets bandwagon. Part of it is because it is a reckless style of play in which the team, they play fast, they shoot a lot of threes, defense is optional, and so how much it would ever translate into winning, they are building a nice team around him. This should be the beginning of a stretch of time where LaMelo Ball is playing the biggest basketball games of his life. That game yesterday, probably the biggest basketball game he's ever played. And this will now be the biggest basketball game he's ever played. And if he wins, in which he is a favorite, he will be the most interesting player on a team that's an underdog in a 1-8 series against the Pistons team that some people have played. And those will be the biggest games. Like, this is when, now he's 6 years into his career, this is when you actually get to shape the narrative. This is where the casual fan tunes in and makes first impressions of you. So, listen, I didn't like the dirty play, but I also didn't like that he forgot to play defense for some of overtime. You know, he just needs to play consistent basketball at both ends, which he hasn't done.
Do you want to go to the other? I think they're going to beat the Magic, and if I'm a Pistons team, watching how they play, where they do get a lot of threes, they were a great offensive team, and they were still a great defensive team. At the end of the game, that was a blocked shot to win the game. I know we say Lamelo won it. No, they won the game. They were, since the All-Star break, they were one of the best defensive teams in the league. If I'm the Pistons, I'm not just like, I'm rooting for the Magic. If I'm the Pistons, it's amazing. Just give me 60 seconds. Because out of respect to my teammates and what KW said before, which is KW's right, which is in general we do try to criticize actions and not people. I am, I guess, far more tempered today in my tone and in my words. I want to make something very clear. One of the reasons I reacted the way I did yesterday was because that was the single biggest game this guy, who's a 6-year veteran, has ever played. He is a borderline All-NBA talent. He is on a max contract. And what we saw for 53 minutes was some of the most erratic, ridiculous, while at times brilliant basketball you will ever see. It was the most missed threes by any player in playoff history. It was falling asleep on defense with a 5-point lead with 2 minutes left in overtime of an elimination game. It was the types of things that get high-level AAU players benched by a coach who's like, I'm going to put in a less talented guy because he at least is going to pay attention. And far too often, LaMelo plays in the NBA the exact same way he played for Chino Hills. If he wants to win, and if he wants to actually deliver on his talent, and if he wants to actually deliver on that contract, he has to grow up on the court in every way, shape, and form. That is less matter of opinion and more a matter of subscribing to Elite Pass. I do wish him luck. I mean that. I have no reason to dislike the young man. I didn't like the play on Bam, but Bam seems over it, so why wouldn't I be? But that is the responsibility of an NBA superstar, which is what he is paid like, and I believe thinks he is. He now needs to act like. Tomorrow night is a great opportunity. Very fair. I just don't want to end the segment with the olive branch of your Hornets wardrobe, I think.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.
Why would you destroy a $40,000 watch to see what's actually inside? We tore down luxury watches to study the exact material. 316 LC, sapphire crystal, Japanese movement.